just looking at the feet, you can tell this horse is left front, or right-handed for the boxer.
Has everybody looked at the feet yet? All right. Everybody picked them up and looked at them? Let's start there. All right. When I get a new horse in and I'm starting on a new horse, the first thing that I do is I step back and I look at conformation. And so I'm going to look at the conformation, and I want to see what kind of problems and issues I have. This horse has got some good drugs on board, so I won't be able to get the kind of reactions that I normally would. But I'll start here and I'll work down, and I'm going to check SI and this whole sacral lumbar junction to see how sore this horse is up top. And my feeling is that we have screwed up from day one, in the sense that we talk about a horse's foot or his feet instead of talking about fronts and hinds. And all of our literature talks about the horse's foot, and it rarely distinguishes between fronts and hinds. A horse is a rear wheel drive vehicle, and yet we focus so much of our attention on the front end. You're going to improve the way horses move and perform more on his ass than you are on his front. Day in and day out, you're going to make more difference on the hind end of a horse than you are on the front end. And so I want to see what's going on with his motor. And so I'm going to check here. I'm going to look and see what kind of structures we have there. And I'm going to look for varus and valgus turns. Are you familiar with varus and valgus? Valgus is moving away from the body or the limb, and so this horse is a little more valgus on his right front and a little straighter on his left front, and that's happening at the pastern. You can see on his right front that pastern's out, and that's valgus. He's neither valgus nor varus on his left front. And then on his hinds, he's pretty straightforward as well. So he doesn't have a lot of conformational turns and twists that are going to concern me. When we get to that right front, we'll see if that valgus condition is an imbalance issue or if it's a conformational issue. And so for the better part of the beginning, the first 2 decades that I was shoeing, I started at my heel and trimmed to my other heel. And then I switched over for the second 2 decades. I trimmed from the toe to the heel. And for the last decade, and almost 2, I have switched that up and do a little bit of both. So, I usually started on my medial heel and worked to my lateral. Yeah. But what I found is when I trim heels first, my heel will relax and settle down much more than if I start at the toe and work my way back. I do not know why, but I know that I can go in and I can trim heel and watch it settle and come together. And if I start at the toe and go back to it, I won't see that. So
you open your heel, and bring it back before you start.
open my heel.
You know, when you are,
If I've got a
yeah,
hooky heel,
yeah.
I was trained that was sacred, and you were never supposed to. At that time, they called it Frenching a heel. If you took and opened up a heel that was contracted or hooked, it was a cardinal sin. You were not supposed to do that, and uh, I didn't do it. And then I got rebellious, and I said, "Hell with them! I'm going to open it up." And I opened them up, and it didn't cause any problems. And I don't know why. I don't have any problem at all with opening a heel. And bottom line is it's outside the white line, isn't it? I mean, I'm not cutting into the internal structures. I'm cutting outside the white line. If you got,
If you was a front forward, you know how you bring it back? You bring it back before you start.
these heels are contracted and stacked. Uh, and so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to 45 these heels. I'll use Nathan's knife to clean it. Uh, uh, so I'm going to come in here and just barely tick around here and make sure that I'm finding the true apex of that frog. And so what I see is I've got a good solid heel coming here. And at this point, right there on that growth line, you can see it starts to dive under and in. And over here at that growth line, I've still got heel coming out. It does not dive. So I've got more stress on my lateral heel than I do on my medial heel. And I'm a little high on my medial heel comparatively, but they're both very stacked up. Right. I would say that our left front has more distortion and deformity than our right front. And it's primarily in the caudal aspect of the foot, or the heels of the foot. So I'm going to start where my problem is, on the heels of the left front. There are a couple of things that I've already done that I should have talked about. Number one, ask for a foot. Don't demand it, don't grab it. Ask for it. And again, this horse has got some sedation on board, so I'm not going to be able to do it in the way that I normally do. Normally, I walk up to a horse and I do that. And I've got over half of the horses on my book. I will walk up I'll tap the inside of that leg and they will reposition their other 3 feet and hand it to me. And they stand a lot better if you let them do that. And they will learn to do that very quickly if you give them the opportunity. But if you just walk up and grab that thing and pick it up or yank it up, you're probably going to have to do it again because they're not situated. Let them get situated. Let them get in their comfort zone. The other thing is, I don't know if you noticed or not, but when I sighted that foot, and I don't really sight a lot of feet. I trim off of my sole plane, and I don't sight feet much at all unless I'm in a certification, a demonstration, or a competition. In those situations, you damn right I'm going to sight them. But in my daily work, I rarely sight a foot. If I'm going to sight a foot, however, I'll do it like I did here, where I'm going to pick that foot up and I'm going to let it swing natural. I'm going to brace it under the cannon bone and I'm going to let it swing natural and I'm going to move my head to a position where I can see it. If I don't do that, then I'm manipulating it and I'm going to see what I want to see, what my own posture and positioning has created. So, and on a quarter horse, that can be a royal pain in the ass when you get that big chested quarter horse and you find your head up under here on the other side of him trying to sight the foot. But, and the same goes for the hind end. When I pick up a hind foot on a horse that I do not know, all the books and everything tell me to do this. And I think that's about as stupid as you can get because it exposes everything that's near and dear to me in danger. He's going to kick me in my knee in a direction that it doesn't want to bend. He's going to kick me in my jewels in a direction that they don't want to bend. He's going to kick me in my lovely fat gut or in my heart and chest or in my face. If I turn this way and he kicks me, my knee's going to bend the way God intended. He's going to catch my fat butt. The worst he's going to do is get a kidney. And that could be bad because I have a horseshoe kidney. How ironic is that? If you don't know what a horseshoe kidney is, it means I have one continuous rather than 2 off of a stem. So, but in any case, when you pick up that hind foot, I like to pick it up, and again, I'm going to ask for it in most cases. I let it hang in a neutral position, and you will feel him relax. Then you step under and go back. But you got to let him kick into neutral before you do it. And you'll feel him just relax and kind of drop. And at that point, you can sight that leg. Now, I can't hold it from the cannon bone the way I did before, but I can sling it down from that hock and let it hang naturally. And I can see I'm way high on the medial inside aspect. And so, Chris Gregory says you can't sight a hind foot. Shane Carter says you can do it that way. I agree with both of them. Shane's way that I just showed you there will get you a good visual. It will not be as accurate as you will be on a front. And so you need to sight it from the front and the rear the way that Chris teaches. So it's, they're both right. They're just not either one 100% right. And so that's my feeling on it. I find most horseshoers I follow, I believe that they leave a hind foot too high on the medial aspect. And, you know, maybe that's me. Maybe I'm taking too much off of the medial. But I find that horses want to be that way as they grow, and we tend to encourage it in the way that we trim. So I tend to drop a lot of horses on the medial aspect on hind feet. I'm gonna come in here on this foot, and I'm gonna go to the widest part of my foot, and I'm gonna drag my rasp back, and I can no longer see my lateral heel, but I can still see an 1/8 inch of my medial heel. So using a straight edge, this heel is forward, so I'm gonna trim it first. All right, and you can see how that's curled under. Anybody wants to come look at this, it's pretty fascinating. All right, you can see that bend and curl in a big way after I remove that seat of the corn area. I'm gonna come in right there on a 45-degree angle, and I'm gonna cut that heel off. Go ahead and do my other side, and I'm gonna do it a little less. So I'm not gonna get as radical with my 45s, but I'm still gonna do the same thing and go from my quarters back for the first part of my trim. They say that an ideal hoof wall is going to run 28 to 30% moisture. I'm sorry, 20. They say the ideal is about 22 to 25% moisture. Our feet down here and where I am are typically going to run 28 to 30. So we have too much moisture in our hoof capsule compared, you go to Utah and shoe, and it's a whole different world. It's like trying to trim a rock. And when I was shoeing in West Texas, I had a hot plate. I dropped it on the foot before I trimmed it. It was, I didn't have a butane torch or anything, but I put a hot plate on a foot before I trimmed it, and my feet were stronger, and I thought I was a really good horseshoer because they stayed where I put them, and you get an increase in moisture of 2, 3, 4%. Your feet start falling apart. If you can shoe wet feet, you can shoe anywhere. If you can shoe dry feet, good on you, but it's not necessarily going to carry over when you move to a wet climate. As much as I wanted, but it's already straightened a little bit, and that's an important part of it, is that tubule is not rolling as much. So I'm going to go ahead and trim from the widest part of the foot back. Anybody peel a foot like that?
Sometimes.
All right. You start peeling a foot, and it'll show you where the true sole plane is to look more like a foot. And we haven't touched anything from the widest part forward, and probably won't. Probably won't, because he was stacked up. And we're trying to reposition that hoof capsule so that he's going to utilize the entire foot instead of just smashing his heels. So I'm still high right here and right here. Thank God. See how that curls?
Yes.
And turns? Call it an eagle's beak or a bird's mouth. I'm going to come in and take that hook and ideally you'll take the tension out of it that's pulling it in.
It's all about leverage.
Yeah.
What you're doing is unleveraged.
Exactly. Trying my damnedest to take that point of leverage away.
Before I didn't know that was called friction.
Other than that, I'm pretty much done with that foot. And anything else I want out of it, I'm going to get with my shoe, not with my trim. You'll see, sometimes you'll see a yellow color in a foot. Have you seen that? Kind of a that when you see that yellowish color in a foot, it's almost always a foot that's in distress, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't see it in healthy feet. That yellow color is an incomplete keratinization process. And it has never fully keratinized. And subsequently, it will not exfoliate in the way that normal hoof will. And you'll see it more in the corn area. You'll see it more in the toe area. And that's the reason you get all the chalkiness in the back part of the foot, not in the front, because you got incomplete keratinization happening sometimes in the front of the foot. Or it can happen anywhere in the foot, but it's more likely in the seat of the corn area and the toe. And some people who don't know what they're talking about call it a toe callus. And I think we get carried away top dressing. Almost everyone that comes and works with me, I have to say, slow the hell down. Actually, I say something else. I tell them to slow the hell down and look for where you need to remove foot. And more importantly, look for where you don't need to remove foot. And everybody wants to just get in there and start hogging away. They'll usually start in the dead middle of the toe, which on a lot of feet is the last place you want to touch. So, what I do when I'm training somebody, first working with somebody, is I tell them, get the foot on the stand. Get your eye, look at sighting down that foot, down that limb, and look for what disappears. Look for what disappears. And what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at my coronary band, and I've got a little bit of a flare here and a little bit of a flare here. And everything else has disappeared from view. So I'm going to come in here and tidy this up. And right over here, now I'm going to undercut it. And I see more flare there that I'm going to work back to my quarter bend or heel bend and undercut it again. And that's all I'm going to do to that foot. I believe in them. I was dead set against them for a long time. I said, oh, they remove too much hoof wall and they get up into the periopal and all this and that. And Patrick Spaulding came and rode with me, and he was buffing a foot, and he looked up at me and started laughing. He said, oh my God, you don't like this, do you? And I said, no, sir. And he said, why not? I said, it takes too much foot. He said, okay. He pulls out his rasp and he puts a gouge in the hoof wall. And he hands me the buffer and says, get that out. And I went, and I couldn't get it out. He handed me my rasp and said, get it out. I took it out in 2 swipes. He said, now which one removes more hoof wall? I said, okay, you can teach an old dog new tricks. And then I got carried away and I started buffing up into the periopal and trimming the damn hairline with it. And
you gotta watch that.
No, it doesn't bother any of my horses at all. I've been doing it that way for about 5 or 6 years, and I've still got great feet. I don't have any problems with periopals, and so I just trim the hairline with it. Makes my feet look sexier. What's that? Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, now, according to the comment section on Facebook,
all right.
You're literally murdering the horse.
I
was about to say, you gotta have this on your car for horse care.
I don't know. God only knows how many I've killed, but I don't think I've killed any of them that way.
No, sandpaper?
No.
Me too.
Do you ever float your heels?
Sometimes, if I've got an issue, uh, sometimes I'll use that approach.
Your bars are folded over, and you know, is it like when you straighten them out? Is it going to do it at one time, or is it going to take multiple cycles to get them straightened out?
All right. I feel that whatever the bar is doing, the wall is doing. So if you've got a bow or a bend in your bar, you're going to have a commensurate flare in your wall. So if you've got bars that go like that, you're going to have flares that match those on the outer wall. And you've got to go in, and you can go in and top dress those flares out, and you come back and they're right where they were before. You go in and you tidy those bars and straighten those bars and take the bend out of those bars and move the seat of the corn back where it belongs, and you come back and you got to tidy your foot. And I think I can control a flare without ever touching it. It may take me a couple of cycles, but if I can control a flare by manipulating the bar. And I took 100 recip mares. I'm bleeding on his apron here. I took 100 recip mares and I gutted the flares on one group. I top dressed the flares on another group, and I worked the bars on a third group. And the only one of those three approaches that held and helped reshape a foot over the course of a summer, four shoeing cycles was the bar.
So, what do you mean manipulate? Are you just defining it, making it strong, or are you trying to move it a certain way?
Well, on these, they were distorted enough that I was trying to move them in the sense that they were bent out and migrated forward. So they had moved the seat of the corn forward, and you had big distortion. So I'm straightening it and dragging it back and trying to define that structure. And uh, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the best way to uh, address a flare. Is yeah, yeah. And if you think about it, that's your triangle. And we know that structurally, architecturally, that triangle is our strongest structure. And if we lose that triangle, or that triangle moves to a cone, then we've lost our structural I can do. And that holds true on upright feet, long pasterns, short pasterns, underrun feet. It doesn't matter what it is. Uh, you'll you'll gain more that way than anything else I've ever found. Hot fits. No. No.
Pretty damn clear. You know, to cut out like the clip. Got the little radius in it. Easy now. She needs some more sedation out that she opens up.
Alrighty. I think we need some more.
Burn marks.
When I flipped it over and
Yeah, you're looking at the burn marks.
I was looking at my exposure on both sides and my length, and I kind of smeared it, so I don't trust that exposure, but I think I'm pretty tight. All right. Right. Hang on. Oh, I'm gonna check this shoe for fit, and then because it ran large, we're gonna kind of check these heels a little extra heavy to make sure we've got good clean out through our fog commissures.
Is that the main reason not to let a shoe run like that?
All right. A ball door would be a blessing, wouldn't it? Let's get some heat on that. The terminal point of the heel. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to work this way to my terminal heel. If I start going here and going back, it's going to booger it up and it's going to look like shit. So, and the more I can sweep it, the better off I am. So if I can turn it like that, I'm going to get a smooth cut on it. Damn right, I live by the ball door.
Gonna roll my stamps. Be good. I'm gonna hit the road.
All right, you take care.
Yeah.
So enjoyed every minute of it.
I'm glad you came.
All right.
Always put on a good clinic.
All right. Thank you.
Enjoy it.
All right.
Ready to rock. Nail them up.
Got it where you want it? Push it forward a 1/16 of an inch.
Just in case it is back.
It will.
Literally 24 hours. My little boy was he was not a fan. We tried to go outside.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. He wasn't about it, dude.
Okay, we should have pushed it forward 1/8 of an inch. All right.
I'll pull it real quick.
You don't need to pull that.
It's a rack.
Pull it forward.
That was almost what I said.
Don't be wimpy.
Yes, sir. As you say.
I can never get it. And even when I do it, I try to make it that way. So yeah.
I can, but sometimes I
All right.
under horses that fight.
All right.
And I done got a name.
Now drop it to the ground and look at it and see if you like it. Feel there and there. Wherever I've got the most shoes sticking out, that's the side that I start on.
Okay.
And I get that set, and depending on how much I want to move it, I'll either drive that all the way or I'll drive it halfway. If I feel like I need to move it further to the outside, I'll drive this all the way. And that'll move my shoe at least a 1/16, more likely an 1/8 in one direction or another. As that taper of the nail fills that hole up, it has to move. And
Depending on if you start with toenails versus starting with number 3 or number 4, as far as which way is it going to push the horseshoe?
if I've got clips on a shoe, I'm gonna drive my toenails first to suck those clips back into my,
So the front nails are going to pull it back.
yeah. And if I don't have clips and I want to keep it centered up and situated on the foot, then I'm going to drive at the widest part of the foot. And yeah.
They said they needed a horse, so I was like, well, what better thing to do than bring this one? Well, Spencer said he just came to my other they were coming back to the horse, so why not? Why not? Making sure they put the 1D shoes on. Like I need some speed shoes on this man.
Yeah. That was great.
You got something going on.
Austin said, okay, maybe it doesn't take too much fun. My senior year of high school.
You need to come to Mississippi. That's what you need. I'll learn you about all that. We get some local circuits. Just ruin the whole foot right there.
Murder. Wait, no, this is not a power tool, so it's not murder.
Is that how it goes?
I think
Y'all
it's
hear
a
a
power
word?
tool.
Did you not hear a word Danvers said?
He just gave us the Holy Trinity to use a hook method.
Well, we got that's the running joke.
Sweat dress.
Value.
Yeah. Got it. Real one. Yeah. There they go. Finally got water over there. That's it.
I didn't go to it. I just tried.
Do you think the gouging makes a difference underneath or no?
On wet feet like this, no. But on dry feet, it helps.
Stand is awkward to work around. Not used to it.
Different.
You said what?
I said it's different.
It is different.
To do with it after using it for that long.
My hose stand's a David Hodges special, and I love it. Matter of fact, I won it at one of these clinics.
All right, Blake. What you